Today's ruling is a moment of ready. Is everyone ready? Yeah. Today's ruling is a moment of truth and a long overdue victory for men and women across the NHS. We came to this tribunal to defend something simple and fundamental, that women deserve safe, single-sex spaces at work. Today, the tribunal has confirmed what we have said from the beginning, that requiring women to undress in front of men is not equality, it is a violation of our dignity. This judgment recognises the intolerable and degrading situations women have been placed in. No woman should ever have been told to broaden her mindset or compromise when raising legitimate concerns for her safety and privacy. By ruling in our favour, the tribunal has exposed the profound injustice of a policy that placed the feelings of one man struggling with gender confusion above the rights and well-being of women simply trying to feel safe at work. The NHS cannot ignore this any longer. Allowing men to access female-only spaces simply because they claim to be women undermines truth and erodes common sense. This judgment aligns with the Supreme Court's clear affirmation of the truth and importance of biological sex. It also underscores the urgent need for government guidance to reflect the law of the land, as now confirmed through a growing body of strong legal decisions. Today is a turning point, but it is not the end. All NHS trusts across the country must urgently review their policies and ensure they are lawful and protective of women. We have compassion for our colleague and for others who are suffering with gender confusion, but compassion must never mean asking women to surrender their dignity, safety, or boundaries. We will continue to stand up, speak out, and fight for every man and woman in the NHS to be able to come to work without fear and in light of the truth. What happened to us must never happen again. We are deeply grateful to the Christian Legal Centre, our outstanding legal team led by Niazi Feito, King's Counsel, and Pavel Stroilov, and the tens of thousands of members of the public who have supported us every step of the way. This victory belongs to all of us. Thank you.
Okay, I'll kick off. John, BBC News. Can you give us an idea of your emotions when you read that judgment?
I think it was a bit delayed, to be honest. We sort of couldn't believe it, and we know there's a lot of detail in the ruling that we need to look at as well, and need to understand more. But it's building into real happiness now that that it's been recognised that we have been discriminated against.
Were you surprised?
I think we were hopeful that this would be the ruling, but we are delighted. We're absolutely delighted with it. So.
And what happens next then? What about your relationship with the trust, for example?
Well, we're all still working there, so we'll have to see we'll just have to see what happens. We just have to keep going in and doing our job as we have been doing, and hopefully. We won't be exposed to any sort of detrimental behaviour from management because of this.
Do you think it says something wider then about how other organisations, not just the NHS, but other organisations then approach this? It's a tricky issue, right?
It is, yeah. I think organisations need to listen to this ruling. It's very clear now, and it's a privilege to be part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they need to listen to women because we've experienced such a silencing that we weren't allowed to complain, and we were gaslighted by our trust. I felt like I was such a terrible person for having the audacity to complain about this, and women shouldn't be made to feel like that. It's wrong.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to hold the floor.
Can I dive in? If I can put this to you, Bethany, what does this judgment mean to you?
It means everything. This has gone on Since 2023, we have been fighting for our rights and women's rights within the NHS, and we are just delighted with it, and we will continue to fight for women's rights.
To what extent do you see this as a vindication?
It's a massive vindication. I mean, I can't really express how delighted we are. We are, you know, this has gone on for such a long time. We feel like we've been penalised, that there's been black marks put above our names, that we can't progress within the NHS. You know, so this ruling has shown that we were in the right the whole time.
What message does it send more broadly?
I think it sends a message of, you know, organisations need to wake up now. They need to listen to women. They need to provide routes for women to actually safely and respectfully be able to raise their concerns around this situation.
I'm Kate Barker, Sky News. Hello. So the tribunal rejected your claims that Rose Henderson had personally harassed or victimised you. Do you accept that part of the judgment? Will you try to appeal it? Do you regret bringing any of the claims against Rose?
I might leave
Do you
that to you, Andrew.
It is a bit too early to say. I think I'm Pavel Stroilov, I'm a solicitor representing the nurses. It's a bit too early to discuss appeals, you know, before you've read the judgments. Generally, I don't think there is much of a feeling in the room of being unhappy. And what the tribunal says is really the trust has let down both those nurses and Rose as well by putting them in the same changing room, so that women have perceptions which are real, but they're not making any personal findings against Rose. And for my clients, it has never been personal. It's always been about the trust letting down both sides in this, and about the policy. And this is completely in tune with what the tribunal says now. So we don't envisage at this point that there is anything to appeal about.
No, because what's also absolutely clear is that these nurses were believed. And the fact that there was a man in their changing room was real. And that the very thought of that or encountering that as a reality was something that violated their dignity. Mm-hmm. So that is a real shift in terms of the jurisprudence, in terms of where we've been in the law for a time now. It's absolutely clear. And I think that as a result of that, you know, this has been a long battle, hard fought, for something that is really very obvious and ought to be plain. But it's also just it's a victory for everyone who works in the NHS, for men and for women, in fact. So they are delighted, and I think it actually leads to the future being a situation whereby policies across the NHS need to be secure and safe for all employees of the NHS, and that is something that these amazing nurses have been asking for, both to Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, and the Minister for Women and Equalities. So they've been speaking to people at the highest levels of government, and indeed to the shadow cabinet as well. So we hope that we will see the implementation of NHS guidance now quickly and swiftly as a result of this. We don't need more cases around this. We've had the Supreme Court ruling, Sandy Peggy, this case, we've got the case of Jennifer Melley pending. These cases, there needs to be a stop to these cases. It's clear here, biological men are men, women are women, and that should be clearly recognised in NHS policy.
Can I ask all of you how you feel personally about that aspect of the judgment? I mean, when we spoke previously, you had some quite strong feelings about what you said was Rose's behaviour and changing. How do you feel about the fact that the personal claims of harassment and victimisation were denied?
I'm not massively concerned that they haven't upheld those concerns. I mean, obviously it's disappointing, but you know, I think it was we never wanted to hurt Rose. We never wanted to hurt him. So you know, as far as we're concerned, it was the trust who put him in that situation. We know what happened. We know what was true. So we just have to accept it, I think.
Is this where your fight ends now, or will you be continuing to campaign?
Well, we've got our union, so obviously we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we hope that the rest of the NHS follows suit with dealing with the situation, with making safe spaces for women. But obviously, we are aware that it's happening elsewhere. So you know, we will have to see see whether they comply.
And on that point, can I just ask you how you feel about the delays in the government bringing in official guidance about single-sex spaces? I know the Equalities Watchdog has already given guidance to them. That's not happened yet. How do you feel about that?
I think it's quite frustrating, isn't it? They're clearly dragging their feet, and they need to pick up the pace. This is not a difficult thing to work out. It's pretty simple, and I think this ruling has shown that.
Can I ask, what's the public's reaction been to the proceedings, and how much support do you think you've had?
We've had a lot of support, haven't we? Yeah, there's been lots of cards sent to the hospital, lots of letters, things on X, social media, and the support from the public has been amazing. We're very, very grateful for it.
And having watched the proceedings, it was clear to me that the Trust did actually look at times to get advice and to try and find a way through. Do you think that there was a lack of national guidance that the Trust suffered from? Or not?
Yes, I mean, for me, the Trust were completely incompetent in this arena, and that's all I have to say on that.
I suppose just to follow that, is it your perspective that things have changed and are better at the Trust? Is it a better situation for you all in light of what's happened and what's been heard?
Communication hasn't improved at all. We've received no communication from management. Up until, I think, today an email went out to say that the ruling was imminent. But otherwise, nobody from management has communicated anything to us, which has been the case all the way through.
Has there been any progress in, I guess, the situation with regard to the changing rooms and that sort of thing?
So he has been moved into another changing room. So we've been told.
That's not true, though. We haven't been told.
Well,
we weren't told anything.
We've been told by other colleagues, but nobody from management, nobody involved in this case has told us. We've found out through word of mouth.
There's still not a policy in place, so
Yeah, still no policy.
who knows what's going on.
So Rose Henderson still works at the hospital. Is it, and you still encounter Rose Henderson in your work? How has it been and how will it be?
We have to be professional. We are there for the patients, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
How have the patients been when they know who you are?
We've had lots of support, haven't
Quite
we?
supportive, yeah.
Yeah, there's been no negative, so
Yeah.
yeah.